Hi, my name is Norma Lang. I'm Sally Moses with Healthy Black Woman and Successful Black Woman, and this is my good friend Shaquita Graham. How are you doing today, Shaquita?
Good, Norma. How are you?
Very good.
Nice to talk to you.
So the topic that we're discussing today is based on an article at the Black Home School, and I'll read an excerpt from the article that Puff Daddy is going to open a charter school in Harlem. The Capital Preparatory Harlem Charter School will be overseen by charter founder Steve Perry. So the article says that Combs announced on Monday that the Capital Prep Harlem Charter School will open in the fall. The school will be overseen by Capital Prep leader Steve Perry, who founded Capital Prep Magnet School in Hartford, Connecticut. He has hired, apparently, an educator who was in Florida called Anita Jones. Combs says creating the school is a dream come true. And Combs was born in Harlem and grew up in Mount Vernon, so I guess this is very personal for him. He attended Howard University, where he dropped out after 2 years, but earned an honorary degree, in 2014. So what are your first thoughts when you hear that a rapper, singer, producer is opening a school?
My first thoughts are, if Black people can come together and open a school, that's everything. I think we definitely need to start building our own institutions. And I don't think that there's any entity on earth that can do a more exploited and horrible job at teaching our children than the public school system as it is right now. So, I think that, P. Diddy he seems to be bringing some powerful people, to the table. And again, I think that it's a good thing for us to be building our own institutions. What about you?
I saw a few Facebook conversations around this topic, and Steve Perry is a well-known Black educator, and I believe that Iyanla Vanzant is also, I think she's also from New York City. I thought she was from Brooklyn, but she could also be from Harlem. She's somehow involved in this. So it looks like, if you're looking at it from a distance, it looks like some New Yorkers who are getting together to build a school for Black kids and make their lives better, which, of course, anybody would commend. But upon further inspection and from what I'm hearing, it may not be what it seems, in the sense that charter schools as it is are like public schools. The only difference is that they tend to have more money and more resources. And then, which again was still good, right? Because you're getting more money and more resources for Black kids in Harlem. Or for kids in Harlem. I'm assuming they're Black kids. But the problem is that sometimes charter schools are run like businesses, and the people who own them run them like businesses, and they gain money from running the school. They take a lot of resources. They pay themselves big salaries. And that's what's been questioned. I also heard that with a lot of these charter schools, even the one that Dr. Perry ran, there's some questions about who actually gets into the charter schools. It's only a select few. They have to already be performing well. And then also a lot of kids get kicked out of the school if they're not performing well or if they have challenges. So I have mixed feelings about it. Would I put my kid in a charter school? It depends. I think you have to look at each case individually and decide for yourself. What do you say?
Well, I hear where you're coming from. The bottom line is, again, in the Black community, I think we just really have to be big picture. We are often picking apart our leaders. We're often picking apart, our projects. We can find every flaw in what we do. But if it's a white supremacist organization that is really out for our demise, we can't see how flawed that is. So I feel like when I'm looking at this big picture, it makes me think of how Marcus Garvey pulled people together and started several businesses like laundries and bakeries. I mean, we have to start somewhere with self-reliance. And my big qualm would be is don't get Black people together to create a charter school, but we're still teaching them European mindsets, our Black children, because this is the problem that we have today. We have a lot of, people are complaining about what they call coons. They're everywhere. And why? Because we have a coon factory called the school system. The school system teaches your child that white is supreme and that white supremacy is a good thing and to praise and worship the white image. Now, if these people or any people, I am for just people in a Black community coming together and having a co-op. I don't care how basic it is. I don't care what policies. You can't get worse than what we have right now. So I just hope they have a curriculum that teaches children, our Black children, to respect and value our Blackness, to have a African mindset. And I think that's the most important thing, because we have a lot of Black white supremacists out here.
Right. I actually agree with you in that, again, it goes back to we should look at each one individually. Some are doing great things, and we should appreciate them. I will, however, say, though, that I don't want my kids exploited. I don't care if they're getting exploited at a white school or by Black people. I don't want them exploited, period. So I think that everybody requires a microscope and a looking into and a questioning of what exactly is it that you're doing, and is what you're doing really benefiting us, or is it exploiting us? Because the truth is, sometimes we want to stick to the devil that we know, but it's still a devil. You know what I mean? Not to say that everybody who starts a school is going to exploit us, but at the same time, they may, or they may not. So the questions, I always maintain the questions have to be asked, and you do have to look at each one individually.
Yeah, I could see that you should always do your research. You don't want, again, I'm talking about Black white supremacists, right? So just because a person is Black doesn't mean they have an African mindset. Right. So that could be the case. I am just saying that, I don't know Iyanla or P. Diddy or Steve Perry enough. You definitely do need to do your homework because of those reasons. But at the same time, I just feel like we have to begin forming institutions for ourselves. They're not going to be perfect. Everything may not be just the way it'll eventually be, but this will be like the first generation of it. And I think that that's important to see Black people running their own institutions and things. However, I probably wouldn't send my kid to a charter school either. Because right now I just feel like my child is so precious. Their mind state is so precious that I have to have my finger on it. Right. Because this environment that we're in is very toxic, and the institutions are hell-bent on infusing white supremacy into every little thing.
Right. And, for most people know you and I already because we do so many segments on Your Black World for Your Black Women. But you're obviously a homeschooler. So when you say you have your finger on it, you mean homeschooling your kids, which I also advocate because I homeschool my own kids. And I just reiterate that, I've heard this conversation in a different arena where we talk about starting our own businesses. And Black-owned businesses and so forth, and getting away from working and begging non-Black people for jobs and for acceptance and so on. But then the question that comes up after that is then, well, what if a Black person starts a business and still exploits Black people and pays them horrible wages and the conditions are bad? That's not good either. And that's really all I'm saying. Is it good that a Black person has started their own business? Absolutely. I advocate for that. I talk about it almost every single day. Not almost, actually every single day about start your own business. Even if you have a job, start a side hustle. Own your money, own your time, all of this. I'm always saying that. So I absolutely advocate that. But I still think that there needs to be that second level of, okay, even if you do that, does it serve your community? Does it serve you? And does it serve the people who you claim to be helping?
Sure, but the thing is that regardless of how, okay, so if Steve Perry handpicks the children that he puts into this charter school, and however he has his organization set up, it still results in the children 100% of the children going to college. It still seems to result in the children getting a better education than they were getting before he stepped in, or what was available to them. Right. So for that, in a big picture way, that's going to make me say, this is a good thing. I think we're going in the right direction. Now, can it be improved upon? Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily call it exploitive at all. I wouldn't.
Okay, I hear you. So while we're on the subject, I wanted to give you a few seconds to talk a little bit about Atechco.com, which you're the founder of. And I know that this month, I'm not sure, is it this month or next month, that you have something special going on. So go ahead.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, this is just still back on that same path of us being able to build and educate ourselves so that we can create a better future for our community. And I definitely think that technology has that power for us, because right now we're in the information age. When we talk about economies, we're talking about resources. Information is now a resource. Information technology is a field where there's just a gold mine of money that a lot of Black people aren't exposed to. And I'm so excited about it. At Atechco.teachable.com, I'm giving a free month on both of the courses, Your Six-Figure Tech Career and Your Billion-Dollar Tech Startup. And I think it's great to start building a dialogue around this. So again, it's at Atechco.teachable.com. It's free. I want to hear what people think about it, because I just want to keep going with this kind of this innovation information nation, because there's so much room for us in this industry that I feel like we should be exploiting that. Definitely.
I totally agree. So that's Atechco.teachable.com if you want to sign up for free for a course that Shaquita is offering. And that's a great note to close on. Again, my name is Noma Langam Shali Moses with SuccessfulBlackWoman.com and HealthyBlackWoman.com. And this is Shaquita Graham with Atechco.com. Thanks for watching, guys. And thank you, Shaquita.
Thanks for watching. Thank you, Noma.